everyone! Today for our book review we're going to actually do a series of books, the Axel and Beast series. First book in the series is the Grab 'em Getaway. I highly recommend making sure you read this one first because it sets up who the characters are, how they find each other, and all the good stuff that you need to know for the rest of them. The other ones, I would recommend you read them in the correct order, but it's not a have to. So if you don't read them, you're not going to miss huge details, where the first one you definitely need to know who Axel and Beast are and how they find each other and all that, and that's in the first book. So after the first book, then you have Arctic Attack, Tropical Tango, and Robotic Rumble. These books are all chapter books. So therefore, if it's for somebody who is reading on their own, it's somebody that's reading kind of a more advanced level. There's a lot of words for each page. So it wouldn't be something like my 7-year-old can do the Hey Jack books on his own if he wants to, if he's not tired. For those of you who have a 7-year-old, I'm sure you understand what I mean. These would be for older kids to read on their own, but there are still some pictures in them. They're fewer and further in between. You don't get as many pictures. In some pages it's just little pictures, other pages it's the whole page that would be the picture. What I really like about these though, in the whole series so far, we haven't read the 4th one. We're about to start this one probably tonight. So I can tell you guys later how good this one is. I had gotten these for my 7-year-old for me to read to him. One of the main characters in the series is a robot. My oldest, if you've heard my other reviews, really likes science and technology and engineering and all of that. So I figured if a robot was one of the main characters, he'd really like them. The surprise that I got though is, despite the lack of pictures that I showed you in the books, my 4-year-old really likes them too because they're very action-packed. And they're very suspenseful and they keep you going chapter to chapter and chapter. A lot of nights we try and read only one chapter at a time because we only have X amount of time before they need to get in bed, especially with a 7-year-old having to get up as early as he does for school. So I typically read about 1-ish chapters a night, but usually both of them are asking me to read more and more, and they want me to read more than one chapter a night just because the books are that good. So I was really surprised, but it was a pleasant surprise to find out that my 4-year-old, who usually doesn't like books that don't have a lot of pictures in them, because I've done other series with my 7-year-old, and my 4-year-old just not interested. But this one really grabbed his attention. I really found that interesting and a pleasant surprise. The only thing I would say, and this comment comes partly from the fact that I'm reading them both to my 7-year-old and my 4-year-old. One of the bad guy characters in here, his name is Gus Grabham Jr. His language isn't awful, but there is a lot of name calling. It's not always bad name calling. It may be calling somebody chicken or doing something like that. And I think if it was just my 7-year-old, it wouldn't faze me any. It bothers me a little bit, and there are 1 or 2 times I've edited, not read completely, what he said, more due to the fact that I'm reading them to my 4-year-old too. It's not inappropriate for the age level that it's being read to, but to be honest, I have edited a little bit of what he says, and there's no swear words, there's nothing really bad or awful in it. It's things like chicken or stupid or stuff like that I'm just not ready to have those kind of names used for other people around my 4-year-old. My 7-year-old, we could talk about it and stuff, but since I am reading them to my 4-year-old too, I feel it's only fair to add that little tidbit in there too, just in case any of you do have younger children and you're thinking about possibly reading them to them as well. They are great books. They've really caught my boy's attention. I had bought the first one by itself because I wasn't sure if they would be interested in the rest of the series, or if my oldest would be interested in the rest of the series. And I've had to go through and buy the other ones because they both really, really like them. We've read the first one more than once because we were waiting for the third and the fourth one to get here. We made it through the third one last night. And I have a feeling we're gonna start Robotic Rumble tonight. But anyways, so this is the Axel and Beast series. Great, great books. I really hope that they release more of them too, so that we can keep going past these once we get done with the fourth one. Thank you. Let me know if you have any questions.